It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Another early start for me. See the sun coming up over here. The stars are still out a little bit. It is 6:30 in the morning. I'm at Caddixton train station and I'm making my way to Bristol Temple Meads, where I'm going to be brewing with Moor Beer Company, young Freddy Walker. I'm super excited by this. Really excited. Old Freddy Walker is a classic, terrific beer that Moor Beer Company have been brewing for a number of years, and they've decided, and I'm really honoured by this, that they want me to get involved to brew young Freddy. So I'm making my way to Bristol. Let's get brewing. Let's go and do it. We have arrived at Moor Beer Company. Great signs, some barrels going on, hops on the fence. I managed to get here a little bit early this morning. I got a connecting train at Cardiff, which was slightly early. Well, I actually ran for it. But while I'm here early, I just wanted to bring you round to this lovely little seating area. And I spotted something. It is, of course, coming towards the end of September. But I just wanted to pick one of these hops. Here we are. Fresh whole cone hops. This is what we're... See all them little bits and pieces in there? See all the... It's really sticky. Right, see that on the end of my thumb? It's not tobacco. It's so what you do, you give this a really good rub, and then you give it a really good smell, and you can... Oh my goodness me, I'm picking up... Oh, it's just juice. It's like... Hops are wonderful things, they really are. Look at these. Really lovely. It's like a... It's a resiny grapefruit, lemon, orange aroma. Fantastic. Right, I'm going to sit myself down, wait for the brewers to turn up, and then we're going to get brewing with more beer. So we've made our way into the brewery, and for our collaboration today, there's loads of this malt to go in. It's not all of that malt, is it, Tom?
All that's piled up on where Chris is now. Yeah.
Wow! Look, wow. Okay, I'm going to get up a little bit higher and show you. Let's go. So, hi Tom, how are you doing? Tom's the brewer today for Moor Beer. Oh, do you know what? I seen this in. I was in Norway the other day.
Oh yeah.
And I seen a lot of this where the corners are. The cans are just smashed on the corners.
They just get a bit dinged.
Yeah, so from one country to the next, they're smashed up cans. Right, let's get up. So this is a little look at, this is all the lovely malts. Could I possibly pass that? Let's get it this way. Right, we're up on this mezzanine floor. Hello, how are you doing?
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Chris.
Hiya, Chris. How you doing, mate?
Okay.
So this is the malt for the... This is the fantastic malt. Look at that. For our young Freddy Walker mild. Marvellous. Fabulous. So in this hand this morning, before 8 o'clock this morning, we've had fresh hops and now fresh malt. I love beer. Beer is such a cool thing, isn't it? Even if we're a bit starry-eyed this morning.
Yeah, a little bit. Not quite woken. Not coffee yet.
Good morning, Justin. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing really well, thanks. Yeah,
Fantastic.
This brew together.
Super excited. Absolutely super excited for this brew day. Here are the malts. So we got some crushed wheat malt, some crushed black malt. We have some crushed extra pale malt. And then there's one there, crushed crystal malt. And then one more, and then this is your dark roasted malt, but this is what you want to see. So we're going to be brewing today. I'm super excited for this because it's one of my favourite beers, Old Freddy Walker. One of the first beers I ever had from Bristol. Definitely the first beer I had from you. I'm really honoured, really, to be able to come here and brew young Freddy Walker with you today. But if you don't mind, Justin, if you could explain how we go from old Freddy Walker to young Freddy Walker. Is it the same malts?
So we're going to use the same malts and the same ratios. We're just going to use less of each, and that's how we're going to bring the alcohol level down from 7.3%, which is the normal Freddy Walker,
Yep.
or old Freddy Walker, and bring it down to, you know, more or less 4.8, 5%. We'll see how it finishes out.
Fantastic, fantastic. So yeah, look, I mean, it's just wonderful. And the smells, this is the one thing that the camera will never get, is the wonderful smells of a brewery. I mean, just look at this these terrific malts.
The smells, the flavors, and the textures of everything. You have to kind of come and get your hands dirty and really feel.
Absolutely, yeah. You can see them bits of dust. So we've got some of the malts in this morning. We're going to get these 4 bags in now. I'm going to pass the camera to Justin if he doesn't mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab a bag of malt.
Oop. It's all right. We'll sort that out. Don't worry.
We'll keep rolling.
We keep going. We keep rolling.
These things happen, don't it?
Yeah.
Chucking malts all over the floor. So I push some of this back so we get some more in.
Yeah, we got a tool for that, so we'll get that
right,
out.
okay.
Save you from getting covered in dust.
Okay.
It's gonna happen anyway, though.
Yeah, how embarrassing! I tipped
No,
the
no,
bag
I've seen a lot worse happen actually.
Have you?
Yeah, we had.
I want to get the roasted malt in. I'm bet.
You want to get that one in, do you?
Yeah.
Do you have the paddle there, Tom? Oh, there it is. There's Tom.
Another one. Fabulous. 2 to go. I suppose the beauty of this, because we're boiling it, we grab that, chuck it in, and then dustpan and brush it in, because it's all been boiled up, isn't it? All of the. Is that how it works, or?
Well, I mean, I've seen some people do that. We'll actually just get some fresh malt, but there's not much on there. It looks worse than it does on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time we had some people come to brew with us years and years ago,
Yeah.
and their favorite beer was Resonance, which is at the time was called Northern Star. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
They were so excited, and we said, "Okay, you can throw the hops in." And it was a couple, and she climbed up the steps. We're like, "Yeah, we'll get a photo of you and all that." And we did that, and then she literally just dumped the hops all over the floor.
Oh no.
And those were really expensive. So, this is all right. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
No use crying over spilled malt.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there's the tool. So 1 to go. 1 to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lift with your knees, not your back.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fantastic. That malt is in. The malt is in. Brilliant.
Excellent. Let's get mashing.
Yeah, let's get mashing. Right, we're just going to climb this set of stairs. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah,
you all right? So,
to go.
what are we doing now, Tom?
So we preheated our mash tun.
Yeah.
To chill off a bit. So now we are just going to put about 400 litres of hot water in.
Okay.
Just to cover the plates at the bottom.
Yeah.
Before we start adding the grain.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see those plates at the bottom there. So.
We have our water control here.
Yep.
So hot water and cold water, they mix together. We have a temperature reading here. It gets a bit confusing. Which is basically takes our reading of.
I got you. So it's going to go in at about 49.
Well, we'll be going. Initially, it'll be going in sort of high 60s, but our mash temperature is going to be about 66.
66, that's spot on. So is it a case of just pulling that plate there and then all the malt that's above, that makes its way into the...
So inside of this, we can maybe show you later, is basically sort of upside down conical.
Yeah.
So the malt hits the conical, the water goes in the side and it mixes basically to make that porridge.
That's perfect, so you're not going to get no stuck mash down there. It all happens in this device here. I got you. Fantastic, fantastic. So here we go. Here we go. Okay, so we're getting up to 400 litres now. As soon as it hits the 400 litres mark, we're going to start letting the malt into that tank there with the hot liquor. Got to use the correct term with the hot liquor. So we are 400. So here we go. So you can see you've got a lovely mixture now of hot water, the malt. Fantastic. So now that's going to carry on circulating, and we're going to go down in a mode. How long have we got? Just in a few minutes before that starts, that you can see it through.
Yeah, you can see it start changing
straight away. Ah, right. Okay. So if I grab the camera, so you can see it there mixing, and it's going to start recirculating. So if I come down now, Justin can explain what's going on here. Ah, there we are.
Yeah, so what you're starting to see now is obviously if things were going in, it would just layer. So what we like to do is we like to take the stuff off the bottom so we get a uniform distribution of the temperature and the liquor. So as the grain is being added to it, it's going to start to get, you see some little bits of grain that are coming through and they'll get popped back on top. But in the end, what's going to happen is the color is going to go actually quite dark, because when the dark malts start getting absorbed by the, when the dark malts absorb the hot liquor, then you'll start to see some of that color come out. It's going to get darker and darker.
Fantastic. You can see it as you were talking then, it's starting to get darker and darker and darker. So what you can see from that great big tank up there, you can, just a few minutes ago in the video, you could see that we were adding all of the different colour malts. So the black malt went on the top. So once that feeds into this hot liquor tank, you're going to see it. As soon as that dark malt goes in, you're going to see it change colour. So I think I'll come back once it actually...
Yeah, I'll come back in a few minutes.
I'll come back in a few minutes when it's nice and dark, yeah. There you go. So you can see now that... I wish these phones had smell-o-vision, you know, where you could smell the fantastic... It's almost sweet, breakfasty, porridge. Wonderful. So we give this a bit of a stir. With it. Because what you don't want is a stuffed mash, but there's going to be no way of a stuffed mash anyway, because it's all being mixed up with the hot water in this wonderful piece of machinery here. Yeah. So you're just now starting to smell. I think now, is that the black malt going in? You can just see the...
Yeah, you see sort of like, maybe I get it on camera, but sort of specks.
That lovely roasted malt. You begin to get a little bit of coffee and chocolate. If you've got a passion for this, it's so exciting. It's so exciting to be involved and hands-on and smelling it and breathing it and living this whole process. It never gets boring, does it, Tom?
No.
It never gets boring, no.
No, it doesn't.
So you can see the difference now. You see it's getting much darker. It's looking more like what I would call a bitter, maybe an IPA colour, pale ale at the moment.
It's getting a lot richer now.
That's the word I'm looking for. It's getting a lot richer. So this process is going to carry on until it very much looks like a mild. It's going to look almost like a stout, I imagine, Jeff.
It'll be pretty black. Yeah.
Pretty black.
Yeah, the black malt little goes a long way. You would definitely, as you taste it up there, you know, you don't need.
You don't need much of it.
Yeah.
What is it? 10% is it of the whole? You don't need much, do you?
Yeah, you don't need much.
No.
So basically, I would say most people would consider a kind of maximum ratio of like 5 to maybe 10%
Yeah.
of black malts.
So now it's getting a lot darker. It's starting to. I reckon that's looking like a barley wine at the moment. I mean, thinking about the styles, pouring them in the glass. So it needs to go a bit darker. But I thought while we wait for this to go black or looking like a mild, I thought I'd grab a quick interview with Justin. So, Justin, American accent for my viewers. Where are you from in America?
Yeah, originally from Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
Yeah, started out as a home brewer. And prior to that, my dad got me into beer when I was about 5 years old. So he'd travel like around and try and collect different beers from different countries. And he'd let me have like a little taste of it, and I actually liked it. I actually liked the darker beers as a kid more. I think they're a bit sweeter and had a bit more flavor.
Yep.
Less bitter. So definitely time to change into that.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And then then started out as a home brewer. First opportunity I got to, and basically we've got a giant homebrew kit here.
Now you got
a lot of beer. Yeah, you can see it's definitely dark.
Now it's darkening up. So in terms of you made your way to the UK. When you made it to the UK, was it your aspiration to open a brewery? Was it kind of like this is what I want to do? Yeah, fantastic. So you must have seen. I mean, I reckon the craft beer market in America was probably, especially the California area, was very much far advanced. So you thought to yourself, it's like ploughing an open field or going into a field where you can plough. If I make my way to the UK, I can show, or I can at least bring what I know to the UK market. Was that the idea?
No, I mean, the idea was very much, I love living, I love British pubs, I love real ale, I love living in Europe as opposed to the States, and being able to travel and experience different kind of foods and cultures and things. So that was really the genesis behind it. But what I wanted to do is have something that was uniquely mine and took the inspiration from the time I was living in Germany by having proper, natural beers, naturally hazy and unfined, and then the British real ale with secondary fermentation. But then the California craft brewing side of it at the time was like really hoppy, tons of flavors, etc.
Yep.
So it was really combining those three things together that makes Moor, I'd say, a bit more unique.
So let's just catch up with this a little bit. Yeah, you can definitely see it getting darker.
Brown ale.
Yeah, more of a brown ale. So getting back to the interview. So when you built this brewery, did you have an idea of mixing a little bit of what you learned in Germany, a little bit what you learned in America, and then with a British system, a British brewing system? So is there so looking around this brewery now, is there a little bit of Germany in here? Is it a little bit of America? Is it a little bit of the UK?
Yeah, I'd say it's very heavily British, the way the system is set up, but we use a lot of the German processes.
Yep.
As we were talking about earlier off camera about the way we do our lager, and using acidulated, or what the Germans would call sour malt, to adjust the pH in the mash. So we use kind of processes like that. When we go in the back later and have a look, we actually do proper lagering on horizontal lagering tanks, and that's very much a German way of doing things.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, we try and take the best of the different places that we've been and combine it together in a unique way.
Terrific, wonderful. Here we are. So
So we've now mashed in, so it's going to have a mash rest now. So approximately 30 minutes.
So 30 minutes of a mash rest. So it's all going to be sitting in here. For my viewers who are maybe learning to homebrew, maybe they're new to beer. What's the purpose of a mash rest then? Is it just to pull the sugars out of the malt?
You're leaving it so for basically all the enzymes essentially to start working and changing all those starches.
Fantastic. And then, if I'm right, we transfer.
So once we've finished our mash rest and we know that all the sugar's been all the stuff being converted to sugars, we'll then do a thing called Vorlauf. So
okay.
What we'll do is we'll essentially take the wort, which it now is the sugary liquid, off the bottom of the mash tun, and gently put it back on top, which is to clarify the works.
Okay.
So taking all that little bits of grains, putting it back on top and using essentially the mash bed as a filter, essentially. And when it's nice and clear, then we'll start taking it across to the kettle. And that's usually takes about half an hour.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, so talking about our beer today, young Freddy Walker. What was the old Freddy Walker, which I mentioned earlier, I'm a massive fan of. Big fan of this beer. Where did that come from? Where did the idea from that come from? Did you taste the beer somewhere in maybe Germany or America? And
So it's interesting. It's the only beer that survives from the original Moor. So Moor beer is called Moor because it was in the levels of Moors in Somerset, which is a geographical area near Glastonbury.
Okay.
And it was started on a dairy farm in 1996 by a dairy farmer named Arthur Frampton.
Yep.
And he, with all the problems that were going on in the dairy industry at the time, wanted to diversify and get out of that. And of course, loved drinking and going to pubs, and he thought he should be a brewer. So he started up a small brewery. There was a local, it was in the village called Ashcott. And there was a local guy called named Freddy Walker. And if I remember the story correctly, it was for his 80th birthday that Arthur was talking to him in the pub. You know, well, what would you like? It's a big milestone. And he said, you know, brew a beer. So they named a beer after him.
Cool.
But the original beer, so it was brewed by his daughter, Holly.
Okay.
And the way I understand it, because I wasn't there at the time, was she didn't necessarily follow the recipe or didn't understand what the recipe was supposed to be, and she just threw a bunch of stuff together.
Wow.
And so it was actually quite an accidental beer that went on to accidentally get entered into a competition and win champion winner beer of Britain. So one of the notable awards and got a lot of recognition for that. And yeah, it just kind of became that they had to replicate that and became quite a.
So did she write anything down, or did they have to go right? Oh my goodness me! How are we going to try and find this recipe again?
Yeah, no, I'm sure some amount of things were written down and probably somewhere left. Knowing the way things could be.
Fantastic. So just a quick question on that very subject. I was in a really old brewery just a couple of weeks ago. Do you guys keep a brewer's log where you go back through the history of all of your different beers? And yeah, that's just wonderful. That's just wonderful. Everything since day one. Day one.
Every beer we've ever brewed, we have.
Is yeah, fantastic. Well, yeah.
It was all handwritten up until like now. Stuff goes directly in the computer
Yeah.
system, so it's a lot easier to search and do things. But yeah, there's a lot of times we'd be looking up old recipes and we'd have to flip. When did we brew that? And like try and flip through all these things and find it. But
Old brewer's
it's great
logs.
history. When we did the collab at Fuller's. We got to go back and actually like look through their old brewing books to find the original ESB recipe, and then we got to, when we brewed it, we got to brew and sign the book and stuff. So it's historic, and it's nice to be part of history. Yeah.
Terrific.
So
All right, Tom. What's going on here then?
Cool. So after mashing in, what we've done is we're just having to check the pH of
Okay.
our mash. Essentially, the pH does many things, but it's also creates some nice sort of acidity or whatever for the enzymes to work properly. So for mash, we're looking at 5.2 to 5.5 ideally.
5.2 to 5. That's about
No,
spot on,
bang
isn't
on,
it?
really.
Bang on. Always the exciting part in brewing. Look at that. I'm instinctively getting your nose into the bag. Can't fault it. So look at this. So is this bullion, Tom, on
Bullion,
here?
yeah,
This
we
is.
have bullion, which
Oh, look at this.
I don't know whether we're going to use that.
Just got picked a few days ago,
A few
right?
days ago.
But you can really see the impact of the incredibly hot summer that we had on the hops. And
Right.
The difference in the color
Yeah, they're
change.
normally
See the
a
difference
green.
between those.
Wow.
So we'll have a smell
Yeah.
in.
Bullion, and this is the Bramlin Cross just in.
And these are whole hops.
Yeah, whole cone.
Yeah, so we use whole hops mainly in the kettle.
Okay.
And pellets for dry hopping. Not that we're dry hopping this beer, but yeah,
Superb.
we're one of the people who still believes in using whole hops, and hopefully they'll be around for a bit longer. The UK is one of the last places in the world that still uses them, so it's really hard to actually get whole hops these days. And I'm being told that they might not be around for much longer.
Oh, that's a real shame.
It's a treat to be able to
It is
a piece of history.
It's been a number of years actually since I've brewed with whole cone hops. No, there's a lot of the times that I've brewed recently has been pellets, but it's wonderful. Look at this. So you really kind of, you're crunching this up to and then smelling it. Just wonderful. Just wonderful.
Berry notes, brambling, and again, it's a variety that's suffering with the change in climate. Is a variety that might not be around for that much longer. It's harder to get hold of now, but you get those nice berry notes that work really well with British dark beers.
Yep.
So Bullion is the replacement that the hop merchants are recommending as a good substitute for Brambling Cross. It's very similar characteristics, but it's a bit more kind of disease resistant and doing a little bit better in the climate, although clearly not from the sunshine that it had.
So if we could just talking about the hops for a moment. So in the winter, Brambling Cross, we mentioned off camera, it needs a frost to be able to...
So hops, they need basically, they're very particular plants. They need a really hard winter to have a frost to basically reset them, and then when obviously things start back up again, then they get a nice growth. But they don't like to have a lazy winter. They kind of rot and not do too well. Yeah. So the fact we haven't had like a hard winter meant that the crop this year for certain varieties won't have done as well. Yeah. Likewise, hops do want a nice kind of a lot of sunlight in the summer, so that's been great. But they also need irrigation.
A lot of water. And
is
this what slightly happened here then? Where there is a little bit of green in here, but it's that kind of dry browny. Is that just because it haven't had enough water?
We'll have to talk again to the merchant to see the result of that. But it looks to me like they definitely had a little bit too much sunshine.
Okay. Yeah. So doing the smell test, Justin, what are they smelling like?
Yeah, so clearly they're a lot browner than they should be, but they were just picked, a few days ago, and just looking at initially, if you're judging it with your eyes, it doesn't look that great, but when you actually smell them, you do still get that berry character to it. So they seem to smell. We'll have a little bit of a deeper look into it, but they seem to smell a lot better than they look.
Fantastic. Right, so there's a process going on here, Justin, that's very new to me. What's going on here? What
we're doing now is known as Vorlaufing.
Vorlaufing?
Yeah, so we're basically taking off. We've created a nice filter of grain in the mash tun here. What we want to do is get it nice and uniform. Any little bitty parts out so that they don't go into the final brew itself. Yeah, you wouldn't want it in there. So what we're doing is we're gently taking from several points in the bottom of the mash. Yeah. We're draining it off. We're pumping it back through, and if you come up here, but it's going back in the side there. So it's getting a nice kind of gentle mix. There you go.
Right. So circling?
So basically it's recirculating,
It's recirculating.
So it's getting a nice uniform, but we have to do it very gently. Otherwise, what you'll do is you'll collapse this delicate bed, as you were talking about, and then you would get a stuck mash. So we're doing everything very nice, very, very gentle, very controlled, and this is just going to give a great uniform texture to the beer.
It's already smelling terrific, isn't it?
It does, yeah.
And I think we, look at that. Tom's we're going to try we're going to come down and we're going to try some of this worse. Can I get in? Can I swap with you? Yeah. Do you mind? So this is this is it? This is the colour. Terrific.
Yeah, well, it's still got a ways to go, so it's basically still doing its thing. Remember, it's still hot right now, so it's still extracting some more of the color and the flavor, doing some of those conversions through the process. So we're doing this for about half an hour or so. Excuse me, and then it will get. If it was a pale beer, by the end of the time we're doing it, it would be basically crystal clear. Okay. So that's what we're kind of going for. You can see right now it's not quite there yet, even though it's dark, but it'll get clearer as time goes on. Wow. You get that lovely sweetness, and they're really rich, kind of like Horlicks.
One of my favourite parts of brewing is trying the wort. Really lovely and sweet. Of course, all that sweetness gets turned into alcohol. But you're right, it's definitely Horlicks. And you can see where Horlicks came from. You can see that powdered stuff you buy in the supermarket, making a hot drink in the winter. You can see that some clever person has gone, this tastes good. How do we bottle it type of thing? And yeah, wonderful, lovely.
Yeah, it's definitely nourishes you in the morning.
Really good, really, really nice. Love it.
But yeah, we'll come back to it in about half hour or so and see. Yeah,
Fantastic.
See what the difference is.
Lovely. Okay, so another important part of the brewing process is measuring the hops. What are we looking for, Tom?
So 2 kilos.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
There's,
Smack on.
First wort edition. We've got 3 kilos at a 20-minute edition, and then 5 kilos of branding costs at a flame out edition.
Fantastic. Yeah. Never get bored of these things. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, Tom, let's have a look at this final.
Oh. Can get a good shot there.
Look at the colour on that. Absolutely wonderful. Ruby red. Oh, it's delicious.
Oh,
So excited for this. A month is going to be a long time waiting for this, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Gonna be good with it. So now we've finished Vorlauf.
Yep.
We've got our nice sort of clear wort. It's also very strong. So we check the gravity, and the gravity is about 1080, which is a lot stronger than what we're going to end up with.
Yep.
So what we're going to do now we've got a nice clear wort, we're going to start transferring it from the mash tun, the thick wort, into the kettle.
Okay.
At the same time, we're going to be starting our sparge.
Yep.
So we're going to be putting fresh water on top of our bed of grain.
Okay.
To essentially, I guess, wash the grain to get as much of that sort of sugary liquid over as possible.
Okay.
By the time we've transferred over a total of about 3,500 litres, we should be at our ideal kettle boil gravity.
Fantastic.
Going to be about 1045 or so.
10:45. Okay, so we're going to do that now. We're gonna
So
we'll
you can probably get a good shot looking in the top of there.
okay, let's get up these stairs.
Start that.
So, bit of all right, opening this door.
There you go, open up that lid.
Look at that. That's a tremendous view. You can just see here it comes. Steams first, and then here is that liquor. So you're going to add water with this. Oh, I see, I got you. Right, okay, so I got you. So this is the concentrated wort. Move my hand out of the way. With
At the same time,
you're diluting it at the same time.
from the top down.
I've got you. Right.
Wash that bed of grain and get as much of the sugar as
Absolutely superb. Woo! Brilliant. Let's have another look at this over here. Magical. Magical.
As that fills up, we turn on different steam jackets.
Yeah.
So you can see all the on the walls where these sort of circles are.
Yeah.
Each one of those panels is a different steam jacket.
Okay.
So as it turns, we turn them on and then it sort of starts to bring up the boil. So
Oh,
by the
I
time
see.
we're full, we should be pretty much boiling.
And boiling, if I remember rightly, is about an hour, is it?
Yeah, we'll be boiling for an hour and a quarter.
Hour and a quarter boiling. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so climbing the ladder with the bullion hops. Here they are, look at that. Wonderful smell. First edition. There you go. Fantastic. Okay, So we're about half full. But what a shot. Steam, hops, and that beautiful liquor. Beautiful dark liquor. Not too much. Well, we can get a little bit down there, I suppose, in terms of seeing something. But that's going down. This one's going up. Look at that. So we mashed in over here. That's the grist case up there with all the malt was. Mixed all the malt up in there. That then fed in with some hot liquor, hot water in here into this tank. And then that gets rested for about 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, we transfer then with hops. So that's the first addition of hops in there. Transfer in there where we will boil this lovely wort, this lovely hot steaming wort, for about an hour and 15 minutes in this massive tank. Yeah, this is Moor Beer Company in Bristol. Fabulous place. Fabulous. Oh, there's all our hops down there. So we finished the transfer, Tom.
We have finished transfer. We are just, well, probably about 10 degrees off coming up to boil.
Wow, look at this.
We've got all the liquid in there we need.
So over here, what's going on, Tom?
So we are rotating it, so it's a wiper blade, basically. At the moment we're just draining out the last liquid of wort.
Oh, there we are. There it goes.
When the liquid is all, when the wort or last runnings is drained out, then we have a little hatch down the bottom which we'll put a sort of a big IBC under, and then empty all the grain into that.
Right.
That then goes outside, and the farmer will come and collect it for his cows.
I always love to hear that. I'm just going to come down and so there's a hatch there. Is it that hatch there?
Well, yeah.
So that opens. So we're just running that off there with. This hatch opens here. Big tub underneath. Bang, and I suppose the farmer picks it up from out the back there, does he?
Yeah, he does.
I love the sound. Love it. So Justin, up close and personal, we're on a little balcony up here, but we are boiling now. So
Yeah.
what's the degrees in there? Over 101, is it?
Yeah, it's probably about 101 now or so. Yeah, we can go have a look and see. But yeah, we'd like to get a nice boil in there. Our kettle is steam fired, so we got 5 different zones of steams. We control the, how heavy it boils. You got to be careful with dark beers like this that they don't boil over. So it's finding good vigorous boil that doesn't kind of go everywhere.
Do you know what I've noticed? I've just noticed this now. Like if you got a cup of tea, the steam's going this way. For some reason, the steam's going in. What's?
So you're getting a bit of a draft going up the flue.
Got it. Yeah. I've got it. So it's being sucked in, out the right. Of course. I was thinking, what's going on?
And what was hilarious about this flue, you see there's this, like, the kinks in it.
Yeah.
So what had happened when we moved the kit here, we literally like measured everything down to the inch to make sure the forklift could get past the steps, and this would fit next to that. Yeah. And this is where this tank had to be. When they went to run the flue up, it would literally be on that beam. So we couldn't chop through the beam.
Oh.
So they had to do this like
elaborate kinking. Yeah, I got you to go up past that. Yeah, perfect.
So that was a bizarre huge amount of drama.
Can't quite. I mean, with a naked eye, I can see it boiling. Oh, there we go. You can just see around this area here. You can just see it boiling. So, Tom, this is the big moment. We're gonna let all the malt go out of this 2x. That was the one bit of automation in the brewery, which.
That's the wiper inside the mash tub, and then slowly kicks all the grain out of this thing into the IBC for the farmer's back.
Right, here we go. I've been in a few breweries where I've jumped in and you dig in with a shovel and
We can do some digging out in a minute.
this is one. I think this is one bit of automation which you're probably very happy about.
So happy. Yeah.
You're very happy about.
With the old brew kit, it used to be climbing in, filling bags,
Oh yeah,
putting the bags out, taking
yeah. And somewhere you open a door on the side, and then you're trying to reach that last bit, and you're throwing the shovel in, and you're pulling. I know.
Well,
This is absolutely worthwhile. So have you already, oh there it goes in there. So this now, which is pig or cow feed, have you already phoned the farmer or do they just know? They just know.
It comes usually 2 or 3 times a week. So
Right. That is just, I mean, and they go nuts apparently when the pigs, when they see this, they see the black container coming, they'll be running for it, charging for it, scoffing it.
But he also collects from a few other breweries in Bristol as well, so
He's always running around. So if your bacon ever tastes a bit like beer, then so we're gonna have second edition of bouillon to go in. Let's get up these stairs. And let's get these in. Every last one. Yes! Okay, Tom, what have we got here?
So this is yeast vit.
Yeast
So it's different sort of vitamins, nutrients, things for sort of healthy yeast growth.
Okay,
So we put it into the boil and then it will go over into fermenter. So when we pitch the yeast, it has sort of everything it needs to be happy.
fantastic. And Laura, you're about to get into the mash tun, I understand. You're going to get in and give it a clean. You're going in now? Well, that's fantastic. Let's go. Brilliant. There she goes. So I'll come up now and film what you're doing. Let's go. Let's follow it in. Ah, I see what you're doing. So you're getting that last little bit of malt, making sure everything's nice.
A little bit, and then we'll give it a good pound hose later.
Superb. I was expecting it to be like still loads in there, but it's just little bits, isn't it?
Just a little bit, just a remnant.
Yeah. So how long have you worked at the Moor Beer Company?
Good question.
Good question.
About a year and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, loving it.
Fantastic. Yeah. So and one more question before I go. What's your favourite beer from Moor?
Smoke lager.
The lager. It is good. It is good. Isn't
Smoke
it?
lager.
Wicked. Have a lovely weekend.
You too, babe.
Yeah. This is the last hop edition. Amazing. Stun the crows. So, flame out.
Yeah.
We
We're
are.
at the end of the boil. So we're going to turn the steam jackets off and finish the boil. Pour
Fantastic.
the whirlpool and let it chill.
So-
we can turn all these blue valves on
Clockwise.
clockwise. The top one's already off.
Oh, that's off. One. That's the top jacket, middle jacket, and then another middle jacket, and then the bottom jacket. So that's it. So we're going to do a little bit of whirlpooling now, and then we're going to transfer to the fermenter.
Yes.
So most of you have seen the main brew house from the brewing video, but Justin's going to show us around the back part of the brewery where the fermenters are and everything else is. So let's have a little walk around, Justin.
Come on through.
Let's go.
Watch your step getting up here.
Yeah. So we're just in the middle of the transfer, so we got a bit of time while the beer's transferring to have a little walk around the brewery.
Quick look around the cellar. It's been
this.
very busy. We've been packaging beer today, obviously brewing beer, so there's a lot of activity and a lot of things are really tight.
Yep.
Perhaps what we'll do is I want to take you around the side here and show you something that we've got. Most other breweries our size don't. Good.
Okay.
So we've got our propagators and yeast spring. So what we do here is we grow up and store yeast.
Yeah.
It allows us to, I don't know if we've been through the lab yet.
Oh, yeah.
It allows us to control our yeast. And in the brewery, we use quite a lot of different yeast.
Yep.
We've got our house ale yeast for our clean kind of hoppy beers. We've got basically our British kind of ale yeast. We've got our lager yeast. We just did a wheat beer, so we're wheat beer yeast. And this really gives us a lot of flexibility to be able to do things and control it in-house, which is great. You don't see it typically in breweries of our size. So.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, to have it. It's that quality, isn't it? It's a bit like that bakery we went to at lunchtime. Everything's kind of, the more hands-on, the better it tastes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. So is this your canning?
Yeah, so this is our canning line. So we upgraded the canning line last year to be able to do both 440 and 330 mil cans.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, cans come up here, they go onto the shaker table,
Yeah.
come down the twist rinse. They get rinsed at this stage, and then come on through and get labeled. And then again, with the focus on quality, we've got a really high-end German canning line.
Wow.
We had bespoke made for us, so it's a 9-head machine. It does about 2,500 cans an hour at full tilt. It can do pressurized cans like with our lager, or it can do, as we've pioneered, the real ale in a can, the can conditioned beer.
Yeah.
So we do all of that on here. And it comes through. Oops, and gets. Trying to get through?
No, just maybe have to put the...
Okay. Yeah, it comes through and gets seamed at this end, so the lid goes on and gets the date put onto it and into the boxes and away. Obviously, you see a lot of tanks around.
Yep.
So we've got a lot of, what are these? They're called unitanks because we do everything in one tank.
Yeah.
Or you can also call it, the shape of it would be called cylindrical because there's a cylinder and a cone. And this allows us to basically ferment the beer, take the yeast off of it, which we'll then either reuse in a future beer, put in our yeast spring, or perhaps get rid of. We don't like to transfer beer, so we like to keep everything as much as possible in one tank at one time.
Okay.
So we don't typically go into bright tanks for our ales.
Yeah.
We've also got our hoppinator, which you can see tucked behind the steps there, so that's how we do our dry hopping.
Okay. Fantastic. So the hops go in there and then they fire into the
So what we do is
the fermented.
we recirculate the beer around it once they're brewed. And then what we'll do is we can't get through this way.
I was going to ask you a question just for my kind of newer viewers who are getting into beer. So the idea of this system is that everything settles down. It goes past this point here where you take the beer off. So everything under there or lower down, you get to take away, and that's perfect.
Yeast.
Yeah, the yeast. Yeah. So you're getting to take the yeast away, but above that line, very cleverly, you've got all of your fantastic beer.
And what you can't see, because this tank is empty, but what you can't see with the tanks that are full is we've got something called a rotating racking arm that goes inside of here. So it's a giant stainless tube.
Yeah.
That goes kind of in, and then what we can do is we can rotate it, and the tube inside will reach different levels. So depending on, here we go.
There's one right there. Look at that.
So this will go inside.
Yeah.
You can imagine this is in the tank, depending on where the yeast level is, which is different every time. We can kind of swing it around so that we can get the beer from where we want it to.
Right. Superb. Fantastic. Wow, it's amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. What are the vertical tanks down the back there? Oh, sorry, horizontal even.
Yeah, we'll walk on down there because we're really excited about this. On your step.
Yeah, no worries.
Squeeze on through?
Yeah, I'll get through, yeah.
Tim Morrison said.
Oh, I've had too much
here.
here. I've had too much of your fest beer. No. Right, okay, look at this.
So what we do here is these are our horizontal lagering tanks.
Yep.
These ones hold a single brew, and these ones hold double brews.
I completely missed that one looking at these ones, but look at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of beer in there. So what
Lagering.
We lager our beer in a proper German way.
Yeah.
So we do the first fermentation. When the yeast is done, we basically bung the tanks up so that we maintain the carbonation, because all of our beer is naturally carbonated. We really believe in the importance of having live yeast do the natural carbonation. It's better for the environment, using less CO2. You get a better mouthfeel, better basically bubble size coming out of the natural carbonation as opposed to forced carbonation. So we do that with all of our ales. We got recognized as the first in the world to make like real ale in a can, because we also do can fermented beer. The same thing in the kegs and the casks. The beer is identical. So with the lagers, you can't really do that because physically you could, but lager yeast produces a lot of sulfur, and there's good sulfur, which is kind of gunpowder, like burnt match, cordite type smell that can come off that we like in our beer, a little, at the right quantity. And there's also, during the fermentation process, you can get eggy sulfur. Eggy sulfur is like rotten egg. It doesn't smell nice. No. But it's a normal part of the process. What you have to do is you have to basically blow that out of the tank when it's past that stage.
Okay.
So my concern is if we were to package beer, re-ferment our lagers in a can or in a keg, then you trap in that eggy smell.
Okay.
No one wants that.
No.
So we basically put in extra amount of, we allow the tanks to build up that little bit of extra amount of pressure through the natural carbonation, and then we blow that kind of egg smell out of there. We move them over to these horizontal lagering tanks to allow them, like the Germans do, to settle down and naturally settle the yeast out. So all of our beers, we pioneered the unfined beer movement. All of our beers are vegan friendly. And we think this is super important. It's the only way that we'll brew. So we've got bespoke tanks to allow us to do exactly the same thing. And because we don't filter or refine any of our beer, we've been the first also to pioneer putting these rotating racking arms into lagering tanks, which isn't a normal thing.
I've never seen anything like this, to be honest. Not even in Europe, I don't think I've seen. This is just tremendous. Yeah, this is a brand new thing for me. And in brewing, we never stop learning, do we, Justin? We never stop learning. We're always going, pushing.
What we love to do at the end of the night is when the lager is basically ready in tank and we have to check it, there is nothing better than tasting fresh lager directly out of one of these tanks.
Yeah.
So something pretty magical about it. So
yeah,
it's too early in the day for that right now. But we'll get to some of that later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Tom, we're about to start the transfer. What does this involve? We're going to go to fermenter number, did you say 8?
Number 11.
Number 11, fermenter number 11. So how does this trickery work? How do you do this?
So what we're doing, we've got hot hoppy wort in our kettle.
Yeah.
We're going to be transferring it next door to our fermenter 11.
Okay.
Between that, so we're 99.5 degrees at the moment in the kettle.
Yep.
We need to take it down to fermentation temperature, which is, we're going to do about 24 degrees today.
24.
But we'll take it down to, say, 22.
Yep.
So we have a cold water tank in our cold store next door.
Which is here.
Yeah.
There's the cold water tank, so cold water comes from there.
The cold water through our heat exchanger, which is this guy here.
Yep, that little machine there.
Which has plates in it, so you have hot wort on one side, cold water on the other side. By the time the hot wort comes out of the heat exchanger, it's cold.
Yep.
And the cold water comes out hot. So our cold water goes into our hot liquor tank down the end there, ready for brewing tomorrow or Monday.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And then the cold wort gets transferred next door to our fermenter. At the same time, we're also aerating it.
Yep.
So we have this in here. We have an aeration stone.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're basically pushing air into the wort. So that the yeast, so it aids yeast growth. Basically.
Okay.
When you pitch the yeast will then eat all that oxygen. It will grow, and then once it's finished eating all the oxygen, it starts eating, turning all the sugars into alcohol and CO2.
Yeah, fantastic. And then, Justin, there might be another video coming, maybe tomorrow or the next day, where there might be a bit of
Could be very vigorous fermentation.
it's going to be quite a vigorous fermentation, so I won't be here for that tomorrow, but if there is an overflow, and we'll find it, and yeah, we'll get sent the video. So yeah, some photos and a little bit of video, and we'll add that to the video. So yeah, happy bubbles, yeah. So here we go.
You can see here in the site, we're absolutely transferring.
Any particular flavour?
Here we go. There it is.
And this is the temperature of the wort at the moment. It's hot, but it will come down very
It
very
is
quickly.
flying down, yeah. It's nearly a degree every couple of seconds. It's coming down.
And then we'll adjust our flow of cold water to basically get the perfect temperature to transfer into the fermenter.
Fantastic. I'm super excited. And while we're here, I'm going to I'm just going to spin the camera and have a chat. We've had a quick discussion, and we've had a slight kind of name change. We're going to call it. We're just chatting. I think a better name for this would either be Mild Freddy Walker or just Freddy Walker.
Yeah, I think we'll have a couple of beers and sleep on it and decide what the final name will be.
I think it'll have a better connection to old Freddy Walker. It's either Freddy Walker or Mild Freddy Walker. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So what we got to do now is pitch the yeast in, about 45 minutes?
We'll do it about 20 minutes, half an hour or so.
20 minutes, half an hour. We'll pitch the yeast. And thank you very much. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, Tom, so we got a bag of the dry yeast. That is SO4, this one.
Yeah.
And that's going in here at 20 something degrees.
So we've got this at about 25 degrees.
Okay.
We've already put one packet in, so we're just hydrating it basically.
Yep.
So we'll mix it in, leave it for approximately 20 minutes, give it a few stirs. When it's fully hydrated, looks nice and active, and that's when we'll then pitch it into the fermenter. So we've got a total of a kilo of the dried yeast in here. Mixed into 10 litres of warm water, 25-degree water even.
Perfect. So that gets left now for
Approximately 20 minutes.
20 minutes, and then we're going to pitch it. Yeah. And what do they say? What's the term? I can't remember the term off the top of my head now. When you put a lid on it, that's it. You put a lid on the brew when you get the yeast in. Fantastic. Okay, it's time to pitch the yeast. Let's get it into the fermenter. There's a look at it. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited for this beer. Stone the Crows. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Justin. Thank you to everybody at Moor Beer Company. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. That's the lid on the beer. 4 weeks this beer to be ready. I'm super excited to try it. I cannot tell you how excited I am to try it. Stone the Crows. Thanks for having me. Boom. Cheers.